Hey everyone, it's your speech teacher Mike. I wanted to go over intros and conclusions with you so you have a better idea of what's going on for your speech. So, in your intro, the book says there are 4 parts to it. First, gain the attention and interest, also known as the attention getter. Reveal the topic is the second thing you do. Third, establish your credibility and goodwill. We'll talk more about that in a moment. And finally, preview the body of the speech. So, when it comes to your attention getter, the book mentions a couple things that you can do here. You can relate the topic to the audience, obviously, so that they feel it's important, or know it's important. State the importance of it, of course, too. Startle the audience, arouse curiosity with a startling statistic. You can ask a question, all good things that you can do here. Also, even tell a story. All of these attention getters somehow relate to your topic. Because in the past, people have had an attention getter that has nothing to do with their topic. So make sure you do that. With asking a question here, a lot of times people will ask a question, and because no one responds in the audience, they just move on to the second step of the introduction, which is reveal the topic. So, if you ask a question, wait for a response. I know that seems silly, but a lot of times people will say, for example, how many of you use Google? No one says anything, even though we all do. So they just move on to reveal the topic. So ask it again. Maybe ask it in a way that's more clever, and whatever you can do to get a response. All right? So those are all good ways to gain the attention of the audience. Back to the second step here, reveal the topic. Pretty clear and concise what you need to do there. Just tell us what your speech is about during your introduction. The third step, establishing credibility and goodwill. Now, credibility is the perception of a speaker's qualifications. So what makes you qualified to speak on this topic? What makes me a qualified teacher? What makes me credible? Not a lot of people ever ask that. They just show up to class and say, well, here's my teacher. Obviously, I have an undergraduate and a master's degree in communications, which makes me qualified. I've also been teaching for a number of years, 10 plus years, so I am obviously very qualified to teach this class. But that's what makes me qualified, so I would establish my credibility, let you know why I'm qualified to teach. You, on the other hand, have to let us know why you're credible to talk about your topic. Now, many of you might work in the field of your topic, or maybe your major, but some of you, or a majority of you, probably actually will have no real tangible tie to it, except that you've done research and wrote a speech on it. And that's simple enough to say. So, for example, as someone who has researched this topic thoroughly, I feel that I am qualified to talk to you about this speech or inform you on this topic. Perfect enough. So that would count as credibility. Goodwill is the perception of whether a speaker has the best interest of the audience in mind. So, what are you trying to get across to us? What is keeping our best interest in your mind? Now, a lot of people have trouble with this, but it's really simple. For example, let's say if you were talking about or informing us about a topic that causes cancer. Well, maybe it's through some carcinogen or some chemically produced product in foods. So by letting us know that it's in the food or it's something that we consume on a daily basis that could lead to cancer, that's keeping our best interest in mind. So that's obviously an extreme example when it comes to someone's life or death, but other things, for example, could be your use of water or something that affects people on a daily basis, like tap water was an example I was thinking of. A student wanted to give their speech on that. So again, keeping our best interests in mind. There's more examples in the book if you want more, but that is just a brief summary of what goodwill is. So again, in the introduction, get our attention and interest, reveal the topic, establish credibility and goodwill, and preview the body of the speech. Previewing the body of the speech is as simple as, or AKA is known as, the central idea or the main points of the speech. So you're just letting us know what the central idea is or your three main points. That's what the preview of the body would be. So for example, if I was giving a speech on hockey, my preview would be, so today I'm going to talk to you about the history of hockey, the costs of hockey, and finally the future of hockey. So history being main point 1, cost being main point 2, and future being main point 3, basically. So that's how a preview would sound like. So that is all the steps you do in your introduction. The introduction is worth 20 points. So by clearly doing an effective introduction, you can earn 20 points on your introduction. So that's a lot of points. So make sure you follow the steps, all 4 of these. What a lot of people do sometimes is they don't follow all 4 steps. They get creative with this. But again, I stress, to earn the 20 points, you want to follow each step in this order. So for example, here's something you wouldn't do. A lot of people do. They'll do the attention getter, the topic, they'll preview the body, 3 main points of the speech, and then they'll do their credibility and goodwill. But that's not the order we're looking for. So again, follow the order. Also, a lot of people will make the mistake of doing all 4 of these correctly, but they'll only do credibility and not goodwill. So basically each one of these are out of 5 points, and if you do each one effectively, then you'll earn those points. And I want to stress again here about attention getter. It is your first opportunity to really gain our attention at the beginning of your speech. You're familiar with the phrase that you never get a second chance to make a first impression? That's the same here. So make your attention getter worthy of grabbing our attention. A lot of times people just ask a boring, mundane question. If you have a boring, mundane attention getter, your grade will reflect that. So if you just ask a boring question, again, like how many of you use Google, and that's all you do, then it wouldn't count towards the full 5 points. So really grab our attention. You'll see examples coming up in your book and also in a video too. Now let's talk about the conclusion. 3 steps to your conclusion. Your book says 2. We're adding 1 more here. You want to signal the end of the speech. Let us know you're concluding. For example, in conclusion, today we've talked about, or in closing would be 3 examples of that. Then you want to reinforce your central idea. Again, as you know, that is your main points, basically again there, your 3 main points of your speech. And also you want to refer back to your attention getter. And when you refer back to your attention getter, make sure it's clearly, basically it makes a circle. You started off with the attention getter, you're going to refer back to it at the end. So if my attention getter, for example, in a hockey speech was about a startling statistic or a story about a hockey player, I would also end with it as well. So it kind of makes a complete circle. Or for you baseball fans, you start off at home plate, hopefully at the end you'll end up at home plate. But for this speech example, you need to end at the home plate versus striking out. So those are the steps that you use for your intro and conclusion. Your conclusion's worth 10 points. Your intro's worth 20 points. That's 30 points on your speech that of course can really help and or hurt your score. So again, in summary, introduction, gain the attention of the audience, attention getter, reveal the topic, establish your credibility / goodwill, preview the body of the speech, aka your main points. Then you signal the end, reinforce the central idea again here, aka your main points, and refer back to your attention getter. So 3 steps here, 4 steps in your introduction, go in the order, have a awesome attention getter, end with it as well in your conclusion, and you should be good to go. So any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me. The video example that you're about to see is a great representation of what your intro and conclusion should look / sound like.
All of us are at risk. And I'm not talking about STDs, global warming, or terrorism. I'm talking about your life online. You're at risk of having your computer taken over so that perfect strangers can read your email, access your bank accounts, pilfer your credit card numbers, and even steal your identity. I've seen this over and over again at my summer job as a computer technician at a nationwide computer store. You wouldn't believe how many computers are compromised and infected. As college students, we're particularly vulnerable because we spend so much time online. According to David Tatter, manager of Wisconsin's Consumer Office of Privacy Protection, 32% of all identity theft claims are filed by people between the ages of 18 and 29 years old. That's the largest percentage of any age group. Today, I'd like to explain 3 additional steps that experts recommend for online security: using strong passwords, using secure connections, and double-checking links before clicking on them. At the beginning of this speech, I said that you're at risk. And that's true, but you're not helpless. I've shared 3 proven ways to protect yourself: strong passwords, secure connections, and double-checking links. I hope you'll find this information helpful as you fight this endless battle for online security.